Welcome to the 8 Billion Project, where we're on a mission to make an impact by discovering and sharing the purpose of every person on this planet. I'm your host, Liza Florida. Enjoy today's episode. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the 8 Billion Podcast. I'm your host, Liza Florida. And today in the studio, I have a special guest, Michael Lopez of Mission Echo. Typically, I would actually do a bio introduction, Michael, with everyone that I have as a guest. But I've been so touched by your story. And I would actually like for you to actually just go ahead and start telling us a little bit about yourself, because there is so much to. If I were to give a whole bio and introduction, it would be a long list for all of the good things that you've done. And it's a pleasure to actually have you in the studio today.
Thank you for having me.
So if you'd like to tell a little bit about yourself, what you do, and then we'll go from there. I'll ask.
Okay, so I'm born and raised in the city of Huntington Park. I'm from Huntington Park, attended all the local schools in Huntington Park, graduated high school in '86. During my journey, I was supposed to be going to school for broadcasting and journalism. And things happened in my personal life that put me on a different track. And so I ended up not hanging around with the good crowd and hanging around with the bad crowd. And I don't want to call them the bad crowd because I became part of that bad crowd. But I ended up turning my life over to gangs and got heavily involved in the gang lifestyle and the drug lifestyle. I served 5 prison terms, convicted of many felonies. According to the 3 strikes law in California, I have 2 strikes. I've had 2 strikes since '91. I was a crackhead, so to speak, for about 24 years. I did everything that a crackhead does. Stole from my family, stole from my neighbors, from my jobs, from anyone I can steal from to be able to get high. My day came where I just got tired. I got tired of the lifestyle. I got tired of missing family weddings and birthdays and anniversaries. One of the biggest days of my life, my mom passed away when I was in prison, and I wasn't able to come home for that. But my day came, and I went back to school, and ironically, I earned a bachelor's in criminal justice. I graduated at the top of the class, and then I went on immediately to a master's program. I graduated in 2014 with a master's in forensic psychology.
Wow.
I currently work for the Mental Health Association of Orange County. I'm the program director of the Patients' Rights Advocacy program there. And 8 years ago, my family and I just went out to feed the homeless out there in Civic Center in Orange County one day with pizza, coffee, and donuts. Posted a few pictures on my Instagram. And all my followers, I'm also a big part of the lowrider community. So a lot of the lowrider clubs that follow me began to volunteer donations. You know, hey, we'll cover the pizzas. Our car club will cover the coffee. Our car club will cover the creamer and the sugar and the cups. And here we are 8 years later. We've fed thousands and thousands and thousands of homeless people on the streets of downtown. We're nonprofit now. We've been nonprofit for about 1.5 years. Even though we've been feeding the homeless for about 8 years, we're now feeding the homeless under a nonprofit named Mission Echo. Echo stands, what's an acronym? Echo stands for Ex Cholo Helping Others. And for those that don't know what a cholo is, because I've come across people who say, what's a cholo? A cholo is a gang member. Living that gang member lowrider lifestyle. And so it's ex-cholo helping others, but I also want to set the example of serving the homeless community, and I want that example to echo on and on and on and on and on. So it serves 2 purposes.
Wow.
You know, that idea came in 1995. I was sitting in my cell up in Susanville. I was doing time in Susanville, and I had just come back from, I don't remember if it was just a motivational speaker or church, but I remember getting back to my cell really pumped up, thinking this has got to end someday. I've got to stop coming to prison. I want to be able to help people. What would I name a program? And I just started kicking around ideas. You know, I'm an ex-cholo, and it just came. Ex-cholo helping others, Echo. Born in 1995, manifested in 2018.
Nice.
Had no idea that it was actually going to manifest.
Well, okay, so that's what I was going to ask you. In most cases, and thank you for actually sharing the span, like the time frame of how everything manifested, so to speak. What was it? I was going to ask you, what was the trajectory that changed it? Was it that motivational speaker? Where did it click for you? Because sometimes some people either have a series of events that happen to them, or sometimes it could be one event that literally changed the trajectory of.
Well, for myself, I think it was several events that. So I know in the conversation you and I had, I told you that every time I went back to prison, I felt like a seed that was being watered, because every time I went back to prison, I heard something new that triggered hope, And so there was, the time where I thought of Mission Echo. That's one. There was the time where I was in prison when my mom died. That was another one. When I was slapped with 2 strikes in 1991, none of that stuff changed me, but it set me on a path that needed to, I guess, evolve. I needed to go the long distance, and those are all little things that put me on the path that I'm on today. What it ultimately took for me is I ran out of gas. I got tired. I just got tired of being a loser. I got tired of being in prison. I got tired of having nothing in my pocket. I got tired of not being able to go to a store and buy a soda. I got tired of writing letters home to my 2 little girls, happy birthday, Merry Christmas. I got tired of sending home homemade cards from stolen prison art classes, all those supplies stolen out of the art classes in prison to send home. I just got tired.
Right.
I got tired. It's hard to plan crimes. It's hard to get loaded every day. It's hard to do that stuff. And, I got tired. And I think I shared with you, too, that I was watching TV one day, and the commercial came on where the guy says, hey, you, sitting on the couch. What are you going to do in your future? How long are you going to sit there watching TV? Get up and go to school. It was that commercial to Westwood College where I said, and I began to read the programs they had, and it said youth advocacy. I wonder what that is. Did some research. Oh, that's a gang counselor. I can do that. I can be a gang counselor. I went to Westwood College, graduated with my bachelor's, did so much networking, and how I ended up in a psychology program at Argosy, I have no idea, but I did it.
This was after you served your time.
Yes.
Okay. Now, there was also in a conversation we previously had, you did say that you did go to school for journalism, right? And you were writing letters for people in prison.
Yes. So what happened was while I was in prison, so journalism, writing has always been, even to today, is my passion. I love to write. I love to write, and I love to write. That's, my daughter hates to bring English homework assignments to me because she knows I'm going to tear it up and make her rewrite it and, teach her the grammar and the punctuation and spelling. But in prison, I used to write letters for guys who didn't know how to write, who didn't want to write, who didn't want to take the time to write. And so I just enjoyed writing. And there was this one guy one day who came up and said, I was in my cell, and he came up after mail call and said, hey, man, what did you tell my wife in that last letter that you wrote? I don't remember. I write so many letters. But I said, why? What's up? And he said, well, she sent me $40, man, and she hasn't sent me money in years. So whatever you put in that letter, here, answer another one, and let me know if you need something from the canteen, from the store, because we get to shop once a month in prison. And so my writing turned into a hustle. Hey, guy, bring me a jar of coffee. You can bring me a tube of toothpaste. You can bring me 6 bars of soap. You can bring me, whatever. So I was able to support myself by doing something that I love. I love to write. And I was having conversations with women who I didn't know, nothing sexual, nothing wrong other than just being the writer of these letters. Just conversation.
I'm assuming that it was the inmate would tell you what they wanted to say, and then you would probably articulate it.
Yeah, because I would get questions like, Uncle Reuben, died, or Uncle Reuben this, or whatever, and I'd have to go find the guy. Hey, who's Uncle Reuben, or who's Martha? I got to figure out.
Wow.
And so I put a lot of research into my letters, but I loved writing. it kept me off the yard. It kept me out of trouble sometimes because I wasn't out in the mix. I was writing.
You were writing.
I love to write, you
Wow.
know. I just love to write, you know, and sometimes I'd have to purposely misspell letters, you know, misspell words. That way they can think that the letters are actually coming from their husbands.
Oh.
You know, and so because it's just, I made it an art. I was good at what I did, you know.
That's crazy. I didn't know that you had to misspell some words.
Sometimes I would misspell words just, you know, sometimes I'd have to go off into that lingo that we use, you know, because I don't, you know, write how I speak. You know, I really love to write, and I want it to sound appropriate. I want it to sound proper. I want it to sound correct.
Right.
And so, you know, they would know, wow, this doesn't sound like it's from my husband. You know, so sometimes I'd have to throw stuff in there. But
oh, yeah, that's interesting.
But that's how I supported myself in prison, and I love to write. I was in the 5th grade when I wrote my very first article for the Southgate Press, and I remember getting paid $8.50 for it. It was like 4 paragraphs.
Okay.
And I got my own byline, and I was in the 5th grade, and so that opened my eyes to journalism, to writing. I loved to write. All my life I've loved to write, even today.
Yes. We talked about that. So there are no accidents in life. There really aren't. You just have to go, like we've spoken about this, you just have to go down a path, and then sometimes it, you know, even if you either fight it, we've talked about this, a calling, right? If you fight it, it's so loud and it's so in front of your face that you can't ignore it.
You can't run away from it if it's your calling.
No.
You know, I missed the opportunities. You know, I did miss opportunities. You know, like when I was going to broadcasting school in Hollywood back in the 80s, late 80s, I believe. I was going to broadcasting school. I wanted to be an on-air personality. And I was on my way to school one night, but see, the bad thing about it is that during that time, I was in the prime of my crack addiction. Okay. And the only time of the week that I was clean were school days because I wanted to go.
Okay.
And I was on the Hollywood freeway one night on my way. I had studio time that night. We were like in the 2nd phase of school.
Okay.
And my little crack light went on and said, hey, you know, let's go get a 20. You can smoke it on the way to school and spend the rest of the night in a dark studio. No one would ever know. So I did that. I got off the Hollywood freeway, went back to Watts, got some dope, and I never made it back to school.
Wow.
Never made it back to school. And I remember the school calling me quite a few times for the following weeks. Hey, man, you should come back. We're going to waive some of the fees. You have, a future ahead of you. You're one of the top students here.
Right.
But I ignored that. I don't know why. I can't remember. I can't go back in time and to, remember how I felt. But I do know that I've had some missed opportunities in life where, well, I don't know if I'd call them missed opportunities now. It was God's plan.
Yes. I was just going to say that.
I don't know if, and it's just stuff like that I'm always thinking, what if I would have went to school that night? Would I have been Ryan Seacrest? Would I have been, Rick Dees? Because I love music. I love talking. I love having fun. I love helping people. I'd love to be that DJ that makes that random call. Hey, we're going to pay your bills. Or, hey, you just want a new car. Or, hey, we have a whole year of free groceries.
Right.
I just want to help people,
No, it's crazy. I'm sitting here in front of you talking face to face, and I'm really like holding back the tears because you and I have had several conversations about like a lot of the things that you've just done or some of the stories recently that have just come up. And so you started Mission Echo about 8 years ago, just you going out into the trenches of Skid Row. What did you specifically choose Skid Row for a reason?
Because it was the only place that I knew where there were so many homeless people.
Okay.
But I've learned throughout the years, we now have days where we don't touch Skid Row, but we hit all those encampments under the freeways, in between freeways, alleys, everywhere other than Skid Row. I mean, there's homeless people everywhere in parks, and so we'll have times where you won't see us on Skid Row for a month or two, but we're out under the freeway, we're out in parks, still in the community serving.
And even if you work a full-time job, right,
yes,
outside of Mission Echo, you're still in Skid Row about, you were telling me minimum 5 times a week.
Monday through Friday, yeah, definitely a minimum 5 times a week. Sometimes I go to Skid Row, every day for 2 or 3 weeks. After dinner, we get home after dinner, and I'll go to downtown and just to talk to people, just to sit with people that I know, to have conversations with. I don't necessarily, they don't necessarily need to see me with stuff in my hand for them to make them happy. Hey, Mike, what's up, man? What's going on? And we'll sit and talk for an hour.
Yeah, it's just your friends. You've made
just
friends.
Just there, yeah, friends. You know, it's not always about feeding people. It's just, just being there to listen, to talk.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes I'm there at the right time where something's about to go down and I can help de-escalate, many times I've been able to help de-escalate situations that could have ended up really bad had I not been there.
Yeah.
You know?
I know. See, typically I want to, and there goes my eyes.
No crying, lady.
No, I know. I can't even hold it together because the stories that I know that you've told me, this is on a podcast, and I hope it really reaches so many people, whether they're touched either by your story and they'd like to give, or if it inspires them to be of service to just other people. It really is human connection. It really is, even if it is a homeless person, just to give them the acknowledgement that, hey, someone cares about you.
Really? And
then I know the whole reason, too, why I think I'm tearing up is because you have an amazing story that just happened this last weekend.
Yes.
Do you want to? Okay, everyone take out your tissues because this is where it's really going to get, it's going to get good. And Michael has many of these stories, but this one is the most recent.
There goes my eyes. So about 5 or 6 months ago, while we were out feeding the homeless, we came across a lady named Paulette. We found her off the corner of like 7th and Stafford, and she was sitting in the middle of the intersection. There's not too much traffic back there, but there was a car here and there. But she was sitting in the middle of the intersection as we drove by, and we all stayed looking at her, thinking, does she know where she's at? So we all pulled over, and we got off. And we went to talk with her, and she had no idea that she was sitting in the middle of the street. She's about, 58, maybe 57 years old. She was very thin, barefoot, had a brown leather jacket on, and some really small shorts. And she was extremely filthy, with body odor, the whole thing, the whole uniform that homeless people usually wear. And so we were able to pick her up, and we sat her on the corner, and we talked with her. I got her name, and we fed her. Within 5 minutes, she ate like 3 chili cheese dogs, 2 apple juice cartons, 2 chocolate milk cartons, a honey bun, and 2 bags of Fritos. Wow. I remember the day.
You remember.
I remember.
You remember
the day.
even exactly what she ate.
Exactly, because I was the one feeding her. My friend Jackie pulled out a pair of shoes from her car and gave her a pair of shoes. She was barefoot. Mm-hmm. And I asked her, how long had it been since you'd eaten? She couldn't remember. She didn't know where she was. She knew her name, and she knew that she was from Modesto. And I tried really hard to get a phone number from her to be able to contact her family. And she kept saying, no, I can't. They'll never want to hear from me again. There's no way. And I came so close so many times thinking she was about to give me a number, but she just wouldn't. We spent about an hour with her, and then my crew said, hey, we have to go. We have to move on. And it was very, very hard for me to drive away and leave that lady on the corner, because we gave her a backpack full of clothing, some food, and we knew that, wow, someone's going to come and take advantage of her, rob her, and take all this stuff because she can't see. Mm-hmm. So that night I went home. I contacted Modesto PD to try to run a missing persons report. They needed her birth date. Couldn't do it without a birth date. Oh. So we spent the next 3 months looking for Paulette, looking and couldn't find her. And one day we stumbled across her. She was in better shape, and she gave me a phone number. She gave me a phone number to a guy named Frank.
Out of memory?
Out of memory. Huh. And we called. A woman answered. I asked for Frank. Who is this? I said, I'm calling on behalf of Paulette. She handed the phone over to Frank. Hi, Frank. How are you? My name is Mike. I'm the CEO of a nonprofit, and we found someone named Paulette who gave me your phone number. And we have to watch our language while we're talking?
No.
Okay. He said, I don't give a fuck about Paulette. That crack whore can stay out of my life. She's my ex-wife, and we've been divorced for 20 years. Oh, wow. I don't want to know nothing about that crack whore. And I was shocked. I was hurt. I didn't want to upset the man. I said, well, she mentioned a son. Well, he doesn't want to know anything about her either. leave us alone. Don't ever call back. And I apologized to him. And then the lady that answered the phone pulled the phone away from him and said, I forget what her name was, but she said, I'm Frank's new wife. And if Paulette is alive, I'm very happy to hear that. What can I do to help?
Oh,
I think her son should make his own decision. So she took my phone number, gave it to her son, Paul, who contacted me 2 days later. Paul also connected me with his 2 or 3 aunts in Arkansas and Oklahoma. There's some in, I believe, Cherie is up in Stockton area. And we maintained contact over the phone for quite a few months as we ventured out to look for Paulette. I'd come home from work. My wife and I would have dinner with the kids, and then we'd head out to Skid Row, specifically spend 2 or 3 hours looking for Paulette, and we couldn't find her.
I know. I remember you said, what, 9 out of 10 times you probably couldn't find her. Okay.
9 out of 10 times could not find her. I mean, whenever we did find her, she just happened to stumble across us. She was in our line to come and get something to eat.
Yeah, and so it was just random occurrences.
Random.
Okay.
And so we finally found her. And we were able to... I was able to dial her son's phone number one day, and she talked with her son on 2 different occasions.
Okay.
And she was very happy. We were very happy.
Okay.
But what we couldn't figure out was, why is the family hesitating? Why is the family taking so damn long to come from Modesto to L.A. to look for this lady? But either way, this past weekend while we were out feeding the homeless, her son contacted me and said, I'm coming down this weekend and I'd like to spend the day looking for my mom. I had plans already. We had our route, but I said, okay, come on down and let's look for her. So he found me while we were, taking clothing to the community showers on town. And after I was done with my Mission Echo duties, him and I, he followed me in a car and we set out to look for Paulette. And I knew for sure that there was no way we were going to find her. It took us 5 minutes to find Paulette. And we found her in a tent with someone. And he was ecstatic to know that, well, first he was shocked that everyone on that block, every homeless person on that block knew me. Everybody knows you, Mike. And I said, well, we're here all the time.
Yeah.
And he says, wow, I feel safe. And I said, you're safe. You're safe. And I screamed for Paulette, hey, come on out, lady. I've got something for you. So she came out of the tent, and she says, what's going on? You've got some friends with you today, huh? And I said, yeah, I got a couple of friends. Do you recognize anybody? And she had to raise her hand up to block the sun because it's kind of bright, and, her cataract situation. And she looked at her son, and it took her about 3 seconds to realize who he was. And they instantly jumped on each other and cried and cried and cried. And my heart was happy. We reunited Paulette with her family after 20 years. She was missing from her family for 20 years. And we were able to help
reunite
that family on Skid Row in downtown LA.
Amazing story. Oh my gosh. I told you, I'm the one crying now. I can't stop crying. I'm just sitting in your presence because I know this is just like one of many stories. Now, Mike, why is it though that sometimes, do you know the story? Does it depend why some people can't come visit right away, or?
Well, this particular situation where we've been babying Paulette for, pretty much since before the pandemic.
Okay.
And you have to remember, she's been gone for 20 years. She can't just shut the door to Skid Row and go home. Everyone listening to this podcast would probably say, why not?
Yeah.
You can't. She can't just walk away from a life that she's known for 20 years. You got to remember why she left. She left because she was using crack, and her family couldn't have that around. Now she's using meth, and she's accepted the fact that she needs help, and she's willing to go through some drug rehab to be able to fully reunite with her family. Her family is a little hesitant to take her all the way home.
I see what you're saying. Okay.
Because, the son, my wife and I have talked about it all damn week, and there's no way I would have drove back to Modesto leaving my mom on Skid Row.
Right.
And if you hear this, Paul, I'm sorry, with all respects. Everyone's different. But there's just no way I would have left my mom on Skid Row. I don't know if it was his wife saying she can't come here until she gets fixed, or I don't know if it was the son saying I don't want her around my kids until she's well. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I get it.
And it's none of our business. They will figure it out.
Yes, of course.
If it's meant to be, they will figure it out. But we did our job. I can't believe, God would use someone like me,
right,
to for a task like that.
Yes.
We just went out to feed someone, found someone who was in a very bad shape, and we babied her pretty much this whole year, taking her food, taking her clothing, specifically to her sometimes. Not just Skid Row, but we would buy, after dinner, we'll go buy a dinner somewhere at Denny's or a burger stand and go out and look for Paulette to make sure she had a cheeseburger for the night, to make sure she had this pack of cigarettes,
Yeah.
And it happened after 20 years, was finally able to reunite her. And all my Instagram followers,
everyone was like,
crying.
I know, everyone's crying.
Everyone's crying on Instagram, sending in the crybaby emojis, and people, just randomly sending me messages, any word on Paulette, how is Paulette doing? And haven't seen her for a month, but because I have a following of people that care, that truly care, that give from their hearts, and they care, I've been able to get people to understand that it's none of our business why people are homeless. It's none of our freaking business. We know why they're there. A lot of people listening to this podcast, a lot of people who have no idea about Skid Row might not know why they're there, but let me tell you, some of them are lawyers who lost a spouse and their life spiraled. Some of them are engineers who tried crack or meth for the first time. Some of them were dealt that hand for life. But there are so many reasons why people are there. It's none of our business. Let's just help. And that's my message to people all the time. It's none of our business why people are homeless. It's just food. Can you give me $5? Can you give me $2? It's all going to add up. And let's feed the homeless.
Right. And you were saying, though, too, it's like a whole ecosystem that happens in there, right? Because I was, when we first got into conversation, and I was very interested in Michael's mission, which was, and the organization and everything that you do, you were telling me, sometimes when you're giving and you can't discriminate in terms of who you give to, right? You just have to give, which is very true. I have that same belief system. It doesn't matter what they do or who you give it to.
Yeah, so early on the game, I've learned over these 8 years how to serve, even though I don't agree with some parts, some aspects. It kills me when a drug dealer comes through the food line with brand new $200 or $300 Air Jordans, 2 or 3 gold chains, drives up in a Cadillac, beautiful Cadillac, to get out and join our line to get food for the homeless. How dare
the audacity too.
Yeah, how dare you, How dare you try to, you're taking these people's money when they get their SSI checks. Now you're going to take their food, And years back, we were serving, and my buddy Evan, who's from Soldiers for Christ here in Orange County, he kind of scolded me and said, Mike, how dare you, man? You're nobody to kill these people's blessings.
Right.
That's that man's blessing for the day. If God wanted that man to have that plate of food, you give it to him. Let God figure it out. Right. And I felt kind of embarrassed that, to get scolded by one of my volunteers.
Right.
But, I learned I can either, the situation could have turned really bad. He's a drug dealer. He's probably armed. I'm an ex-gang member. I don't back down from stuff. But that's not what I'm trying to promote on Skid Row. I'm trying to, I'm a different person.
Right.
And so to be able to accept that these drug dealers are going to come through our food lines at times is really hard, because the money, the donations that we get come from hardworking people.
Right.
But anyone who comes through my line gets to eat. It breaks my heart when we're giving out supplies for, and I think I told you during the summertime, we were giving out bags of ice. We were giving out ice cold sodas, and some of these people were walking away with a 6-pack of soda and a bag of ice and turning around and taking it right to the drug dealer's tent. Wow. So they can get dope. And that just breaks my heart, because I get up at 4:35 in the morning to start cleaning out these big igloos, loading up all those, cases and cases of soda, 100 bags of ice. Look at me. I'm a big guy and I run out of breath really quick, but I'm working hard for these people.
Right.
Without asking anything back, and for people to just waste the blessings, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm trying to help you. How dare you in front of my face take this good stuff and go give it to that drug dealer?
Right.
So about a month ago, I was feeling pretty down, and I called my friend who's the CEO of his own nonprofit, and he's my mentor. He grounds me all the time. We talk, and he said, Mike, how many times did God clean you up off of crack, and when you were good, you turned around and went right back to that crack? Got me.
Right.
He got me.
Yeah.
And so that made it possible or easier for me to say, okay, if you're going to give this bag of ice to that crack dealer, that's your business.
That's your business. Yep.
Hopefully, when we have more, I can continue to help, because I did the exact same thing.
Yeah.
God would clean me up, and I think, okay, I'm cool. I have a week clean now. And I would go right back to that crack and get lost again after God cleaned me up.
Right.
So I'm telling you, it's a lesson out there, and I've surrounded myself with people who help me, who talk with me, who mentor me.
Yeah.
It's because I don't know everything, and I'm open to listening, to learning how to serve better.
Yes.
How to serve better. How can I serve better?
Right.
I'm human. I get up in a bad mood someday. I get up in bad moods, and I still go serve. And if the first person that comes through the line is very unappreciative, it pisses me off, and it sets the tone for the rest of my day. It happens.
Yes.
But then I get up some days where, like, there's nothing you can say today, sir, that's going to hurt me.
Right.
Just because you stomped on that chili cheese dog that we got up to make for you at 5 a.m., it doesn't matter. You want another one? I
God
have
bless
1,000
you,
more,
right?
I have those days because, it happens like that. Some of these people are out there, they sense, entitlement. There's so many nonprofits out there feeding people. These people know, I don't want these chili cheese dogs. I can go 5 blocks up and they're giving chicken over there. Or I can go 3 blocks that way and they're giving pizza and socks and boxers. Or, you know what I mean?
Right.
Obviously, everyone's looking how to feed the homeless, the cheapest way possible to be able to serve more. Spaghetti is everybody's calling.
Right.
But these people get so tired of spaghetti. I've seen people take...
Oh, is it? It's spaghetti?
Spaghetti. It's the cheapest thing to make, and it's filling.
Okay.
But I've seen so many people, even my little man, my son, who's 11 years old, who I'm trying to teach, I've seen people take that spaghetti tray from the serving line and give it right to their dog, right in front of all of us.
Yes.
Like, wow. Couldn't you, done that
Couldn't
around
you
the
just
block?
go around the corner and
please.
then...
Wow, They'll open up, oh, this shit again, huh? This is all you want to fucking feed us is spaghetti? And in my mind, I was like, sir, you didn't have anything 5 minutes ago.
No kidding.
And so I've learned how to change our menu,
Yeah.
Sometimes we'll fundraise and we'll go to McDonald's and buy 500 McDoubles.
500?
500, and they're 2 for $3. Do the math, and so when I have events like that, I fundraise for a while. People have no idea. Everyone wants to get rid of the problem, but no one wants to be part of it.
Right.
Everybody wants the homeless to be fed, but nobody wants to be the one to feed them.
Feed them.
Well, I tell people, send me the money. Send it to me. I'm going to show you pictures where your donations are going.
Right.
We're a 501c3. We are legit. If you donate $100, $50, $20, I'll give you a receipt. It's tax deductible.
Right.
But it takes a lot of hard work to fundraise, and fundraise can be very, what's the word that's escaping me right now? Dehumanizing, where I feel unappreciated. It starts with a D. I can't remember right now, but fundraising is hard work. It's hard work because the devil tells you people are tired of hearing you asking for money. Every time they go on your Instagram, there's a video of you asking me for money. Oh, you're damn right. We're a nonprofit. And if no money comes in, nobody's getting fed.
Yes.
Then you have the people who say, how dare you post a picture of that person on Skid Row at their lowest? Well, all these other nonprofits does it. Do it. They the Blue Cross does it. Red Cross does it. For the animals, where they show a sad cat or a sad dog in the kennel,
right?
They do it,
right?
And these pictures are to spread awareness. These pictures are to show our donors where their money went.
Yeah,
it's not for a pat on the back.
Yes,
like many people think, and it's not to stick a camera in someone's face because, believe it or not, we often ask permission to take a picture first. Some of them will say yes. Some of them will say, fuck, no, you can't take a picture. Are you a cop? Are you guys looking for me?
Yeah.
No, I want to show Mary where her $20 went.
Yeah.
There's plenty of people out there who pose for these pictures, who smile. Thank you for the water. Thank you for the chili dogs. And so, but I teach my son too, don't just take a picture, Papa. You ask, hey, can I take a picture? And it'll be yes or no.
Yeah, no, this is great, because I did want to touch on that, especially because you were saying you became a 501c3 even about a year and a half ago, and your work started 8 years ago.
8 years ago for free.
And everyone kept telling you, if you're a 501c3,
Yes.
I could give to you.
I had so many people saying, well, can I get a receipt for my donation if I cut you $500, if I cut you $2,000? No, I don't have receipts. Oh, you need to be a 501. Okay. And so I swallowed that for about 6 or 7 years until I finally did the footwork. Now, let me tell you, it was hard for me to become a nonprofit because it cost us almost $1,000 to pay the guy that does this paperwork.
All the paperwork.
I could have done it myself if I knew how to do it, but I didn't. Oh, people say Google it. Look, man, I ain't got time to Google. I have a job. I have a family.
And then you still have your service.
Yeah, And so it was hard for me to spend that money, fundraised money to become nonprofit. But once we did, all these people who wanted to make donations with a receipt were nowhere to be found. Now I can't find these people.
And you have a 501c3.
I have a 501c3 now, everybody. Hello. I haven't given out a single receipt yet.
In a year and a half.
In a year and a half. I haven't found a company, a business owner, a corporation that wants a receipt. Yes, I've received 200 here, 500 there. You want a receipt for it? No. I lied. There is one man that asked for his, it was a receipt for, I think, $200, and he gives to me yearly.
Okay.
But as far as, a righteous, big tax deductible receipt that I'm dying to write for somebody, all those people that said I needed to be a 501, they're nowhere around. I mean, they don't answer phone calls.
Yeah.
And so I just go on. I just move on and I keep hustling. If you go onto our Instagram, there's 10, 15 different posts a day of me asking for money. Right now, we're fundraising to take tamales to Skid Row on December 12th.
On December 12th.
It's going to cost $900 to take 50 dozen.
Okay.
We're also fundraising. We want to take 100 dozen Krispy Kreme donuts to
100 dozen.
We want to take 100 dozen.
Okay.
Need to fundraise for that. Now, that's a plus there because...
this Krispy Kreme?
Krispy Kreme cuts the price for you. They allow you to fundraise. And so I order 100 dozen donuts. It's going to cost $600.
Okay.
But when we get the donations back, we have to sell those dozen at $12 a dozen. So we make 6.
Oh, okay.
So I'm taking in $600 in donations to prepay these donuts.
Got it. Then
I'm
when
asking
you
10 people to donate $120, that's going to cover the $600 that we paid. Plus, it helps Mission Echo fundraise an additional $600.
Got it. Okay.
Because if you walked into Krispy Kreme's, you're going to pay $12 a dozen.
Right. Okay. So that's their way. That's the system
So
of
Krispy Kreme
how
helps us
the
there.
donation and fundraising works.
As far as Krispy Kreme's go.
Okay.
Yeah, they help us. And so we've always, the first time we took out Krispy Kreme donuts, Skid Row was a buzz. Everybody wanted Krispy Kreme.
Right.
And, there was people, oh, can I get a couple of donuts? And I'd say, no, you can't get a couple of donuts. How about you take a whole dozen? And they was like, what? Yes. We take a dozen. Because they don't come individually wrapped.
Yes.
So we can't have everybody. We gave out, I think I've done it 2 or 3 times. And one time we went out, I think, with 200 dozen Krispy Kreme donuts. I'm hoping Krispy Kreme's works with us on our next one because we're, again, fundraising for December 12th.
Yes, the tamales event. Okay.
Yeah. So if I buy 100 dozen, can you guys donate another 50 dozen? Something like that. We're going to ask about maybe we can get them packaged by half a dozen so we can give out half dozens instead and we can serve 200 people instead of 100.
Right. So, okay. So if anyone is interested, December 12th, contact Mike Lopez. What I'll do is I'll have you at the end give your information so they can contact you.
Definitely.
So that's going to be the tamales. And you can either donate, like in terms of.
So we have families who are going to be making homemade tamales.
Okay.
And it's a lot of work to make tamales.
Yes.
It's a lot of work, but we have families that are going to be making tamales. We're fundraising for people who just want to donate money, and we can buy the tamales already.
Yeah.
that's how we live and die, though.
Right.
But you can either donate, money to purchase them, or you can donate your family's time and make these homemade tamales and deliver them to us on Skid Row on December 12th.
Yeah. Well, no, and actually one thing I really why I'm so touched and wanted to bring you on to 8 billion, and thank you for agreeing to be on and share your story, is I know that you've been trying to raise money for a van.
Yes,
right?
We've been fundraising for a cargo van for about 5 months. Again, if you go onto my Instagram, you see all the videos. We have raffles, opportunity drawings. For $1 a ticket, and people can win prizes, but the fundraising is for our cargo van.
Right.
And in the 5 months, we've raised about $30,000. We're about $15,000 to $18,000 away from actually being able to walk into a dealership and buy a van, because we need a cargo van so bad. We have tables and canopies and nice chests and clothing and food and so much that's needed. Only so much. You saw my little red van downstairs right now.
Right.
Only so much fits in that.
Yes.
And if we had a cargo van, I've had to turn away donations because people want to donate pallets of food, but they won't allow me to break the pallet. I have to take the whole pallet or nothing, or I have to take 2 pallets or nothing. I can't fit that into my little Toyota Sienna.
And I want the audience to know that I'm not sitting here so then I can ask you guys to donate, like in terms of, for the van. I really, for me, my whole thing is I'm so touched by your story. I literally witnessed it with my eyes at an event at Catch 21 a few weeks ago. And Mike, and there's a lot of organizations out there, and what's amazing about them is their grassroots efforts. They're nonprofit organizations,
yes,
but they're not, they're not as big as like Make-A-Wish, but they go out there, they serve the people, they talk to them. So it's not even just for something like for the camera or anything like that.
No photo ops. We're out there building friendships, relationships, building their trust.
Right.
Letting them know that they matter, letting them know that they've not been forgotten.
Absolutely.
They have to eat.
And what I wanted to tell my audience is when everyone else ran out of goods to give, Mike had so much, like boxes and boxes of things to give out. And so it's so much more, it's really a need and necessity. And like what you're saying, sometimes you have to turn away taking a pallet of food because you don't have the room.
Yeah, the Toyota Sienna, you can fill it up with kids, but you can't fill it up with pallets,
Right.
There's no room in a Toyota Sienna. And I think we deserve, or I think the homeless deserve better from us. They're depending on us to supply everything,
Right. So how have you raised funds for that? I know you've said, is it Raffles? Because those are only like $1 donations, right?
Yeah, $1 at a time. And some people will buy $10, $20 tickets. Like currently we're raffling off more Michael Kors purses.
Okay.
But we ask for donations. Hey guys, I'm fundraising, for example, the tamales. I need $900 for the tamales. Can you guys send in a donation so we can accumulate $900? When you do so, please make sure you type tamales in the notes section. That way I know that donation is for tamales, because when donations come in and there's no notes in the notes section, I'm going to put it for whatever I feel we need. It might be water. It might be feminine hygiene. It might be a soap or deodorant.
Okay.
But if it's for a specific item, everyone will type that into the notes section.
Got it. And so you try and spread it. How do you raise money for the van? Or like what have you done?
The van is the raffles.
Okay.
Strict raffles. We have a GoFundMe account now. I forget about that GoFundMe.
Yeah, I was like, okay, that's how I'm going to help you, Mike. I'm going to get this out there. The GoFundMe.
So we have a GoFundMe. We have a GoFundMe account. It's a Mission Echoes GoFundMe account for our cargo van. Now, the reason I forget about it is because we've had it for about a month now, but we've already squeezed nearly $30,000 out of our Instagram followers.
Okay.
And so that's why the GoFundMe isn't doing very much. I need a whole new network of people.
Yes.
I need another set of people who say, let's help this guy. The links are in the bio to our Mission Echo Instagram, to my personal Facebook. But we do have the GoFundMe. We do have the GoFundMe account.
Okay.
And,
would you like to go ahead and just say?
Well, our contact information. So we live and die on Instagram.
Okay.
We live and die on Instagram, and our Instagram is mission_echo. And you will see me there all day, every day, posting and updating you on events that we have coming up. The link to our GoFundMe is in that bio. Also, my personal Facebook is Michael Lopez. Good luck finding me because I've been told there's 1,000 Michael Lopez's. So your best bet is to find me on Instagram. You're welcome to call me. My number is out there. My number is 323-557-2854. And then I can guide you to my Facebook. I usually find you before you find me.
Right.
But again, we live and die on Instagram. As we speak, we're having someone who's constructing a website for us. We do have a website up.
Okay.
There's only 2 or 3 pictures on there. You'll see some of my old prison pictures on there. We
wow.
put that up just to reserve the spot. The domains have been paid for. It's missionecho.org, but we're having someone design it to run it for us. It's hard for me to find someone that I trust who can run our stuff for us, because everyone right away wants to link something to the bank account. Nope, time out, stop. Don't touch that bank account. I'm in charge of that. You know what I mean? So
right.
I'm not tech savvy, so I have to make sure I'm not getting scammed by my own people sometimes. Although it's never happened. I just have this trust issue. I have to make sure I'm working hard to stay legit is what it is.
Right.
And I have to control everything. So I've had people get upset who have offered to set up and design and run our website. I'm not ready for that yet.
Right.
I'm not ready, but now it's in the making. And so I found someone that I trust to be able to make our website for us.
Absolutely.
My uncle bought the domain for us. He designs websites, but he's too busy, with his own job to be able to run ours for us. But it's in the making, everybody. It's like the older generation wants to go to a website, not an Instagram.
Yes.
And so, I have to
balance the two out.
Balance it
yes.
out. But I have to be ready. If I'm not ready, I tell myself, I don't need a website. You've done great on Instagram, which we have.
You have.
But now I see it's time to spread out. I need a different network. I need more exposure to hopefully result in more funding. Funding is everything for a nonprofit.
Absolutely. And I'm hoping that I can be another voice for you, for Mission Echo, for all the other organizations that are out on Skid Row in the trenches, talking and connecting with so many people, because at the very end, especially with us going into Thanksgiving, which is this coming week, right?
Yes.
And the holidays.
So
I wouldn't be a good podcaster if I didn't ask certain questions, right?
Definitely.
So and put out the best message. But before we close this out, Michael, just a few questions. What are you most grateful for?
I'm most grateful for the opportunity to be able to serve others who are still struggling in addiction. I just celebrated 11 years clean. October 1st was my 11-year birthday.
Congratulations.
I've been drug-free for 11 years. There was a time where I wondered, how I was going to finish my life. Am I going to pick up this third strike and end up in prison for the rest of my life? Am I going to overdose somewhere? Is my heart going to blow up because of all this crack that I was smoking? Now I have an 11-year-old son and a 13-year-old daughter who expect me to drive up that driveway every day at a certain time, and I do. I'm not going to say it's easy. Sometimes it's challenging. Sometimes that devil will attack you, but I no longer entertain those thoughts because I have my little man who's waiting for me to go. My little man enjoys going out to Skid Row with me. This past Saturday, him and I went out by ourselves, and we went out to go see. I told you about Marlene, the little sweet little old lady.
Yes, the little sweet little lady.
She's right on the corner of Industrial and Central.
I'm going to meet Marlene.
And I can't wait to take you out there. You're going to love her. You're going to want to bring her home.
Yeah, definitely.
But she likes chocolate, so we take her chocolate Twinkies, chocolate Ding Dongs, chocolate cupcakes. Very sweet little old lady. She knows us by name. She will. If I go by myself, she'll ask, "Where's little Michael?" And I have to remind her, technically, I'm little Michael. I'm the junior. My son is the third. And she gets a big kick out of that. You're not little Michael. Look at you. You're big Michael. But, going out to, my son enjoys going out to see people that we know. You know, a cowboy who's on the corner of 5th and Crocker, Marlene. We have little mamas who we take oranges and bananas to on a weekly basis. Mm-hmm. He knows everyone by name and everyone knows him by name.
Yeah.
And he enjoys going out there to speak to these people just to talk. They all lecture him. Don't forget, you don't do no drugs. You stay in school. You're going to end out here like us. And that kind of, it's good that they hear from other people. They know my story. My 11-year-old knows a lot of my story. Not every detail, but a lot.
A lot, yeah. There's still more that he'll probably have to learn when he gets older
to comprehend
it.
All the stuff that got edited out, he'll figure it out. But he sees what I'm doing, and he sees the tears that I shed because I genuinely love these people. out on Skid Row.
Yes.
They're people.
I can see that.
They're
I definitely
people's
see that.
family. They're someone's mom, daughter, son. You know, I can't tell you. I can't get enough. I mean, we left Skid Row Saturday night about 8:30, and I didn't want to leave. I just we're out of coffee and pastries. I just want to hang out and talk. You know, my wife is super tired. You know, we both work 40 hours a week, and plus what we do for Mission Echo. But before I leave, Skid Row, I'm already planning my next event when I'm going to come back. You know, the need is so much, man. You know, if you don't want to do it, that's fine. Support a nonprofit. You know, it doesn't have to be my nonprofit. Support any nonprofit. We're all out there doing the same thing.
Or even the lesson today was just give.
Just give.
If
not because it's Christmas time, not because it's Thanksgiving, but because people are living out there. They need water every day.
Yeah.
They need fruit every day. They need to eat every day, just like you and I do.
Absolutely.
You know, and I have to make sure you understand, everyone listening, is that it's none of our business why people are homeless, man. Please.
Yeah.
Just help us out. Just help us out. And we'll do the work.
Well, let me leave you with this, Michael. My next question was going to be, what makes you excited? I know what makes you excited. I see your eyes light up when you talk about everyone on Skid Row and how kind you are. What's your ultimate dream?
My ultimate dream is to one day wake up and go to work for Mission Echo. I want to be an employee of my own nonprofit. I would like to have a multi-service center with showers and laundry and job coordinators, housing coordinators. I want to drive to a building that says Mission Echo on the outside, and clients who are walking in knowing that they're going to be loved and cared for and served, people that can be transitioned back into the community. I want to serve. That's where I want to spend the rest of my life. I love what I do. I love what I do. I wish I could make a living out of it. So that way I can, people say it. I mean, it's a job is a job, but if you can get paid doing what you love to do, that would be great. I currently love my job. I'm a patient's rights advocate. Okay, I advocate for people who are contesting holds on a psychiatric unit, but I would love to work on Skid Row for those people.
Yes.
I really would.
I can feel that. And I just want to let my audience know, this is recorded and this platform is open to you anytime if you ever need to get a message out. But if you could just feel the energy and the kindness that's just here, and you could see it from Michael's eyes and heart, it's a call out for me to just ask my audience, or if you even hear this and it's months later, this is definitely...
we're still going to need food.
They're still going to need
in
food.
A couple of months.
And this man, Michael Lopez from Mission Echo, is still going to be out there. He's going to be the gift that doesn't stop giving. And,
definitely.
And I've got, it's a pleasure to share your story.
Thank you. I appreciate the opportunity. It's hard sometimes when people see me. Look at me. I'm a big guy. I look like your everyday gang member. But once people start talking to me and they see my heart, wow, they just like, wow, I can't believe it. You don't seem like that type of person or that type of person. You don't seem like someone who served nearly 18 years in prison. Or once they get past, what I look like on the outside, now they want to join my team. Wow, you have all these people coming to your house. Yes, they're all coming to make sandwiches and burritos and chili dogs. You can drive by my house anytime and it looks like a Costco or a Goodwill outside because people know that's a hub. Just drop it off and text me, let me know what you dropped off.
Right.
I do it from my heart. I do it from my heart.
Right.
Because I was out there once and I needed help.
Wow.
And so it's, again, I will say it again and I can't say it enough. It's none of our business why people are homeless, man.
Yeah.
Their time will come like mine did. I just got tired. Their time will come, Lord willing.
Yes. Well, Michael, it was an absolute pleasure, and the honor is all mine to actually have you in the studio and tell your story. I hope this reaches many, many people. Like I said, this platform is always going to be open to you, and I will use my voice in all capacity that I can to get the word out about Mission Echo, Catch 21 with Kevin Call. These are all wonderful people. But like I said, I'm going to wish you the most blessed holiday season, and may God always continually bless you, and I hope this is just one of many stories I'll be able to tell.
Thank you. We've got to what we say 5 or 6 done, and we have 8 more to go.
We've got a big mission, but we're going to fulfill it.
Well, the mission's been started, so we're good. Thank you to everybody.
Thank you. Thank you for listening to today's episode. If it's moved you in any way, please review and share your thoughts or text me your thoughts at 949-247-2800.